Hey guys, welcome back to this test server wipe and update for August the 13th. It will be a live mic segment. I had started the guy out at the military base and realized that there's just way too many zombies there. Although this is a not so heavy zombie server and it is standard loot and not like super rare loot or scarce loot. But I have gotten my crowbar, I have gotten my pike already, so we're looking good so far in that regard. So welcome guys back to another video. It's been only 5 days since the last one, which is kind of unusual for the Just Survive game, considering that it's been rather slow on the dev side for information and stuff, but certainly good to know that the guys are still getting things done. So let's go ahead and kick off the notes by looking at what they have recently added, and that is, or what they've recently been looking at, and that is that they have integrated a new version of BattlEye for those that have been concerned with or still dealing with a lot of the hackers and nefarious activity that sometimes does go on here on the game. We've been experiencing it pretty much since day one of the game, so glad to see that they're addressing that. Along with some of the fixes, apparently there was a unlimited bag storage, which I guess for anyone who plays an MMO, that's not always a bad thing, but of course item management is kind of part of the game. If you guys have ever wondered about, you know, why there are certain limits to certain bags and stuff, it's just part of the gameplay. The management of your inventory is part of the gameplay. They have also addressed an issue with vehicle death exploits. Now, I don't play a lot on PvP, so I'm not incredibly familiar with what some of those particular exploits may be as it regards the vehicles in and of themselves. I remember we used to be able to do like you grab the weapon, jump out of the car, and you're kind of invulnerable. So maybe if you guys want to comment about if it is the invulnerability part of the patch that they're working on, is that invulnerability. Should I get twine? I don't think it's necessary right now, so I won't get it. Just getting the basics. Yeah, I started off on the Z1 server. Battlewater Canyon. I thought about going on the Z1 server just to mix things up, but might do that on the next video maybe. But considering just the amount of time for gameplay and stuff, it's just easier to be on Battlewater Canyon, because this is really where kind of things kind of start as far as what might be newly introduced into the game. Another thing that has been corrected is a respawn exploit. So that's going to be yet another example of probably a PvP issue, not something that would be overly abused, I think, here on PvE. And so we also see that there's various anti-cheat improvements, so that would probably then also address the fact that the unlimited bag was something that they wanted to take care of and look at in this particular update. But I did want to also address some questions that you guys have been asking me lately. Of course, we did cover the Chase Hall situation the other day in the previous video, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see. They've been teasing it pretty hard on Twitter. We're not really sure what they might be doing. I don't anticipate a revert, which then leads us to my next thing that I want to cover with you guys. And you guys are asking my opinion or thoughts on a revert. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos for a while, you guys already kind of know my thoughts on just the alpha in general. And really, I guess the best way to answer that question is, we're in an alpha, and in any alpha, the idea is to progress the game, not keep it in the state in which the game is going to be perpetually in alpha mode. And I can totally understand the endearment, the attachment, the nostalgia, the newness, freshness, excitement of when we first came into the game with all the hype, with all the just amazing interestingness. I don't think it's a word. But, yeah, so I totally get it. I totally understand that people want that feeling back again. They want that sensation. But just like what we saw with the Z1 introduction when we had completed that survey, people were excited, they came back, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't the same. And I think some people were trying to say that, well, it's because of the Z1 introduction items, for example, like mining and things like that, like what I'm about to do now, to get items to build the foundation. But at the same time, you know, the game is really supposed to progress. The game is supposed to move forward. Whether or not people would have liked Badwater Canyon, for example, as their map, or the preset locations like right here was one of the lots. I didn't mind the lot system, being able to go and get coin and stuff. I had no particular issues with that. It was actually a nice way to keep the game goal-oriented, which is kind of one of the things that people who play MMOs are probably more accustomed to, and that is having goal orientation. And we've seen a lot of those goal orientation aspects of Just Survive kind of removed. I mean, go back to, say, for example, the enhanced weapons. People kind of didn't like the enhanced weapons. They were kind of a little goofy-ish, I guess you could say, kind of sci-fi-ish. But nonetheless, I like the concept. I like the idea that you know, would hunt certain zombies, get particular drops, and then you'd have to assemble the parts. I thought that was really, you know, that's the kind of thing that I was looking for in this kind of game. And it's kind of like the same thing that we had with enhanced weapons. Remember, people were really wanting the weapons to be able to have attachments and all these other kinds of things. And, you know, and then what the devs did was they just introduced weapons with enhancements, as it were, as opposed to us crafting them for the enhancements and stuff. And that's kind of what we have now, where we just kind of assemble the weapons with the existing gun parts that are in the world. So hopefully, you know, we'll see things like that. If you know, is the team going to address things like that? Are we going to see those types of improvements in the MMO environment? And those are kind of things that I look for. So when you guys ask me about things pertaining to reverts and things like that, I just it doesn't really make sense for me. It's just my opinion, because it's you know, not really the intention, or the way alphas are done. And the way alphas are done today, I hope that we don't see this continuing, this kind of people sourcing concept where you allow people into an early alpha. And I think they did, it worked okay, I could say, with H1Z1 in the way they you know, did kind of really focus attention and resources to putting H1Z1 Battle Royale and the now Auto Royale together. I think that was, I think that felt okay. I you know, early alphas, in my old school opinion, should be closed. But this is the new system. We're in a new era now, and this is what's happening. But at the same time, I can look at, say, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen and say, yeah, you know, Brad McQuaid and the Visionary Rail teams are doing it, you know, really well. All right, that's the way you get things rolling. You get, you know, your really super diehard fans or individuals that you vet, get them in the alpha, keep it closed, and get, you know, the kind of feedback that you're looking for, or more objective feedback. I'm not suggesting that people that buy into an alpha aren't objective and can't provide good gameplay data and information. Sure they can. The thing is that it leads to the kind of conundrum that we're at right now, and that is revert. Do people really want the game to revert it back to getting scrap with the crowbar in the old school way, and using scrap to build, and then have the old school bases again? So you guys will have to leave comments about that down below if that's kind of what you guys were, when you guys talk about revert, is that what you mean? I mean, revert it back to that actual initial first day noob mode. I don't anticipate us getting the Ivan character back. I mean, I don't know what the extent of your revert mindset is. And the reason we're still talking about that in general, or we've moved on from the notes, is because it was a very small update. Very small update, so we've already covered the update notes in and of themselves. But would love to still get your guys' thoughts and opinions regarding the direction of the game, because here we are, getting close to the fall. So the team will probably have to make some sort of decision on what they want to do. Now, I know kind of just from a fellow YouTuber friend of mine who did go out to San Diego mentioned that the team did have certain options. I won't go into the details because I don't know what she was able to talk about and whatnot. I'll just say that the team is aware, does know, and has assets to introduce things into the game that would be more MMO-ish, I guess is the best way. I apologize for the ambiguity of it. I don't want to go into content or game material that the team doesn't want people to know about. But I believe they have worked on items and materials and assets and stuff that could turn it more MMO-ish. So I'm really kind of curious what they will do. You know, what the news is going to be, how the game will continue to progress. Because what we saw, like, in this particular update today was, you know, they're addressing BattlEye, which is, you know, more PvP related, which is fine. I don't have any objections to Just Survive PvP at all. And then, of course, you know, the fixes to the bag, which was just a regular generic exploit. Nothing that we haven't seen before in the game in general. So those are just some of the topics that, that the team covered today. So it looks like I'm all full, huh? Really didn't need all that. I was really more looking for stuff to be able to build the furnace and the grill. But I'll probably spare you guys all of that. So let's get set up here for a nice closing. As always, guys, I appreciate your guys' support to the channel. So you are always welcome to leave your comments, thoughts, and opinions down there in the comments section down below. And also be sure you click on that watermark and or channel icon appearing there on the screen so you guys can subscribe, and then hit that notification bell if you guys would like to know when the actual uploads are done for each of the updates and or new information concerning Just Survive and or Daybreak.